Right folks, welcome back. This is another in-session video. I'm actually going to do a couple of overnighters throughout the winter because we're halfway through winter now, so I've missed a large part of it. So it's going to be a bit of a mini-series. I'm not going to release a video for every single overnighter that I do, just because there's not really going to be that much great content to be able to put a video together each time. But what I will do is I'll try and kind of stitch together a couple of sessions and then create a feature-length video of it, which I guess is what you guys are tuning in for now. I actually came down and fished here a couple of weeks back in the same peg that I'm in tonight, and I was lucky enough to catch 2 fish, so a low double mirror and a 22-pound common. I'll try and put some photos, certainly of the common, up for you to see. I think it's going to be tough tonight. I'm down here with my mate Nick, aka the Bream Whisperer. He's in the peg up from me. But there's quite a lot of ice out there. In fact, the vast majority of the lake is still frozen, and we're just kind of fishing just off the edge of that ice where it's thawed out. So it's going to be tough. It's definitely cold out there, but fingers crossed we get into a fish and put something on the bag for you to see. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to try and get my rods out pretty quickly now, because as I'm sure you can all appreciate, overnighters are pretty time pressured, and it's always a rush to get the rods out and get the home set up. So I'll check in with you later when I've got any updates. So we were originally fishing 16 and 15, but we actually found out that 15 was unfishable, wasn't it? It was just too much ice out in front of Nick. So we've buddied up in 16 now, which gives Nick a better angle over to that kind of clear bit of water in his swim. So no snoring tonight, mate.
Oh, that's what you do, mate. Well, the lake was about 80% frozen, and I had to cast around and sort of like cut one of the ice so I could get the angle for getting it in a spot, which is about 12 wraps, probably about 3 rod lengths off the far margin. So what is for tea on the bank? Tonight's tea for me is...
Tonight, Matthew?
It's cottage pie.
Cottage pie.
With a bit of mustard sauce.
It's a school dinner night.
Yeah, that's it. It beats ravioli.
Yeah. And I've got a chicken jalfrezi, mate.
Oh, well, you're posh. You're in the posh seats.
Like it. It's, I think it might be Tesco's finest as well. So...
Nice.
It might not have reformed chicken in it.
It's usually Aldi for me.
Yeah. So yeah, we're sorted now, aren't we? All rods are out on the dance floor. A few kind of like scatterings of bait around the spots. We're just going to chill out, watch the football, and see what the night brings us. So we are in a little bit of disarray, because young Bream Whisperer
has got a carp
in the net. Got one of that. Is a nice looking common, that, mate.
Yes.
Well done, buddy. Well done.
It must have been the maggots.
Whoa! Cheeky little caster trick. Right, let's get set up and have a look at this properly.
That's
nice,
not
mate.
Bad for fish.
Didn't really put up much of a fight, did it? So it's not really burnt a lot of energy, I don't think. So it's beating you up a bit.
Cold, and my hands are so warm, it's just freaking out. That's what it is. But for we'll wait in a minute, Ben. But
yeah, it's got a big head on it, mate.
Late January. It's good to get.
Well, we're
them
January
on
the
bank, innit?
25th.
Ooh.
It's like dropping down to 1 degree tonight. That is a result, mate. Well done. Well done.
Thanks very much. That's what we take.
What's that?
It's a very good formula. Right, let's
Nice,
get
mate.
this
Important. Yeah, we're going up. That, mate, is saying £17.13, that.
So it's a £15 fish.
Yeah, if we take the net off, £15. Looks a little bit bigger than that, but well done, mate.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers, buddy.
Right, mate.
You ready?
And there we go.
This water is so cold. Go on, lad. Go on. Oh, go on. Off the cord.
There we
Off
go.
the cord. Go on. Oh, powered off.
Morning, folks. So it's just coming up to 7:30. I've nearly packed down now. Just got the rods left in and just about to wind them in. No more fish to report last night after Nick's fish, but to be honest, it went super cold. It went to about -2, I think it was, and so much so that there's a lid on the lake now. So yeah, that kind of just goes to show how cold it was last night. But still, great result. Nick's had a fish, and that's what we're here for. And I'll catch you again soon. Cheers. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the next edition of this winter mini-series. You join me here again on the club water. I'm back in the same peg that I was last time I was here when I was fishing with Nick and he had that fish. I got here kind of early evening, and it's quite a nice evening really. The sun was up, so I thought I'd quickly try and get a rod out, see if I could sneak an early evening bite. So I don't know if you can see in the background, but there's an overhanging tree on the far margin, and I've pinned a rig up tight to that just to see whether or not I could nab one. I think probably my other rod I'm going to stick a solid bag on and just fish mid-water, see if I can catch a fish on its way through. We have guests tonight though, so good news is Captain Happy is going to be joining us, and if the stars align we may also see a guest appearance from the Bream Whisperer again. So yeah, looking forward to that. Time is against me, as is always on these overnighters. You know, I'm kind of only here for 12-14 hours tops, need to be off early in the morning, so I need to get a wiggle on really. I need to get that second rod out, and I also need to get the home up. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll catch up with you later. Okay folks, so just before I get the solid bag out, I thought I'd just show you quickly how I go about tying them. And it's kind of a Rob Burgess type approach to solid bags really, whereby, you know, on one side of the solid bag you fish the lead, and on the other side you fish your hook bait. And what that means is that when the bag falls to the bottom, the lead always falls down first, and your hook bait is presented on top, which I think is just a really nice way of fishing it. I'm using the Gemini solid bag stems. Just makes it dead easy for kind of looping on and off bags. And that's it. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing too complex. I've fished a piece of plastic corn in there. Main reason for that is, you know, if you're fishing a wafter or a pop-up and you tying these bags up ahead of time, then you can actually find that the buoyancy of the hook bait is impacted by the pellets. So, you know, the last thing you want to be doing is fishing a pop-up straight off the lead. So yeah, plastic corn, it just, you know, it's not affected by the pellets at all. Its buoyancy stays the same, and I just find it's just a nice little kind of visual attractor for the carp on top of the bag. So that's all I'm doing. Let's get it out. So folks, quick update. I've actually had an incident on my left-hand rod. So the rod that was out in mid-water on a solid bag. It just pulled up tight about half an hour ago now. Pretty like an aggressive take. The bobbin just slammed straight up to the top, wound into it, and there was nothing there. So I think I've either been done, which is definitely a possibility, or it was just a very aggressive liner, which I think is probably unlikely because I'm backleading, so unless it's kind of like right under my rod tips, that's pretty unlikely. But it's positive signs. It suggests that there's fish in the area, so fingers crossed, next time we might be more successful. This feels like it could be Blair Witch in the making. Only more terrifying. Look who it is. It's Captain Happy. He's back on the bank. Captain.
Back on the bank and ready to plank.
That is a blinding bit of torch work. How are we, mate?
I'm happy, mate.
Rods out.
2 rods out.
2 rods out. On the dance floor. I'm doing that thing where I just repeat what you say. Rods out, rods out. On the dance floor, on the dance floor. Lovely. Look at this. What is this crazy setup?
I've just rested it on the bucket before
I know you like to tramline it, mate, but that's a bit ridiculous. There we go. Lovely. So this is a flying visit by young Carlos, isn't it, mate? Didn't get to the lake till about 6 o'clock. He's looking to be off by about 7 tomorrow morning. A fish would be an absolute bonus.
I'm just here to be with you, Ben.
He's just here for the company, which is very good of him. I can't say it's going to be worth the effort, mate. Are we in, mate?
Doesn't feel massive.
Doesn't.
I think it might be a snotty.
Don't say it's a bream. The bream whisperer's not here with us. It can't be a bream.
It's not doing anything.
Oh dear.
It's a bream.
Oh no. The bream are on the offensive.
Oh, it's not a bad slab, that.
You happy with that, mate?
Yeah, I'm well happy with that.
Look at that. Well done, mate. Off the mark.
First fish of the year.
Yes.
That's not bad, that.
It's all of, what, £4?
Yeah.
Right.
He's not coming in.
Let's get it sorted. Well, there we go, folks. I'd say a loadable common. It came from that spot over by the overhanging tree that I showed you earlier this evening, and after being plagued by bream tonight, that is a welcome reward. But I mean, the conditions are so cold at the moment, it's definitely in the minus, and this fish feels like an absolute block of ice, so I'm going to waste no time and get it slipped back. Right, morning folks, it is 7:15, pretty early getaway this morning, so everything's loaded on the barrow, just about to get to the car park, but all in all, a pretty eventful night. Carl had his beautiful bream, I had a bream, and I had that low double common, so yeah, an absolute result for a quick overnighter. Things got pretty cold though last night. Poor old Carl forgot his second sleeping bag, so I think he was shivering a little bit.
One layer on the bag.
But yeah, it got down to at least -1, -2. There was frost on the bivvy this morning.
And my rod was frozen this morning.
His rod was frozen. Yeah, read into that what you will. Your rod. Carl and I have some pretty exciting news coming soon, so definitely worth staying tuned for that one, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Peace. So folks, welcome back to the channel. You join us here on our syndicate water, which is the Sitch at RH Fisheries. We are mega excited because we haven't been here for a good few months and a lot has changed, hasn't it, mate?
Yes, the swims have been all revamped. They've cut back all the trees that have been overhanging, so there is great access to the water and the water level has risen.
Yeah, it is looking tasty. And what's best, there's only a couple of anglers on the lake. I think just 3 swims are taken, so we've got plenty of options to choose from. So I think it's a case of getting our watercraft on, seeing if we can find some fish and then setting up on them.
And trying to catch.
Okay folks, so all set up now. I actually went for peg 2 in the end, which is a peg I've fished a few times now, and it's done me a few fish. It was actually the peg I was in when I caught that, £39.14, so it's it's been lucky for me in the past. I hadn't really seen anything when I chose this swim, and lo and behold, when I did start setting up, there was a fish that kind of showed a couple of times actually out in front of swim 4, which made me think that maybe I'd kind of picked the wrong area of the lake. But since then, there's been a couple of shows off the edge of the island as well. So I think, in general, as a rule, at this place they're pretty well spread out anyway. So I'm not too worried. I think there's definitely fish in the area. It's kind of early spring, late winter type tactics really, so I'm not putting too much bait out. I put like 4 or 5 spoms out over each rod, and again I'm just fishing for a bite really. I'll show you where I'm fishing. Both spots I'm fishing to are at 25 wraps, so 100 yards. It's kind of fishing to the middle of the lake type stuff here, and they're general areas that I've done my fishing in the past. The spot on the left hand side is actually quite a clear spot. I found that previously. It's almost a bit gravelly the further left you go, and so I just generally like to fish just off the right hand side of it, in the slightly siltier area, and that's where I've picked up fish in the past. So that's where I'm fishing. Bait wise, let me just quickly show you the bait. Obviously by now there should be a video up on how I go about heat treating my boilies, but that's all I'm doing. It's heat treated Pacific tuna boilies in 15 and 18 mils, and yeah, heat treating them and then putting hot chorizo compound and GLM powder over the top. So simple stuff, pure boilie fishing, and just spomming it out to that 25 wrap range. So folks, just a quick update, no fish to report. In actual fact, no one's caught on the lake, have they? It's been really super quiet.
There's 5 of us left on the lake now. That leaves, what, 15 pegs unfished.
Yeah, we've seen a few fish though, which is good news. There's been a few shown out in front of me, arguably kind of like on the limits of what is my water, shown out towards the island, which is, you know, it's nice to see that they're there and they're starting to get a little bit active. And I think we've just kind of got to cross our fingers that they're going to drift over this way, and at some point tonight we might hook one.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed.
But good news is Carl's got his cob on, so we'll be having piri piri chicken, chips and sweet corn very soon, and I believe there's also a Stella
There
on
is
the way.
a Stella, so feel free to join us for an episode of Carl on the Cob.
Carl on the cob. Okay, so yesterday Karl promised me that he was going to do me a peri-peri chicken on his brand new cob, but after a cheeky little visit from Stella, he wasn't actually that bothered about cooking last night, so I ended up doing some burgers. But having said that, we are now early evening, well, mid-afternoon, it's 3:30, and we've decided we're going to have peri-peri chicken and chips as a late lunch. And so Karl's literally just unsheathed his brand new cob.
So here we have a brand spanking new Cob Air. We've got a fancy little vent.
We need to zoom in to see this stuff.
We've got a fancy little vent so that we can control the cooking temperature. This is the premium model.
Lovely.
Inside, this is the first time we've sparked it up. So we have a roasting rack because we're going to go and do some peri-peri chicken. I'll just place that to one side and show you what's going on inside. So we've got the cooking reservoir and the beauty that is the cobstone. This, apparently, you light it once and it cooks for 2 hours. So we are going to cook some peri-peri chicken, chips and corn on the cob, and we will let you know how it goes.
Right, morning folks, we're on the last morning of the trip, and again unfortunately nothing to report. My rods have been completely motionless, but Karl's had a bit of action, just unfortunately in the form of a coot and a duck, which is a bit frustrating. Nothing's been out across the entire lake, so I think it's just looking like the fish aren't up for a feed, which is it's unfortunate, but just one of those things. So we're going to have a quick brew now, pack down and head on our way. So thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this winter series. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.